Good evening, everyone, high school football fans everywhere, and welcome to your CVC TV Game of the Week presented by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Tonight we are in Perry, Ohio, in Lake County at Alumni Stadium, a neutral site field for the regional semis here in Division 5, Region 17. We have one of only 3 matchups in the whole state of Ohio of 2 undefeated teams as Garrettsville Garfield G-Men travel here to take on the Kirtland Hornets, who will have somewhat of a home field advantage as they've already played on this field this year and only about 15 minutes away from Perry High School are the Kirtland Hornets. Garrettsville Garfield coming in at 12-0. Kirtland at 11-0. They did have one game canceled and not made up or finding another opponent this season due to COVID protocols. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Arnold. I am back here on CVC TV and so glad to be joined, as always, by my broadcast partner, AA Anthony Alford. AA, high school football, playoffs, regional semis. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. It's cold. The field, even though it's turf, it's wet. We got 2 teams that love to run the football. What more could you ask for tonight on CVC TV?
Hardly nothing else at all. I mean, this is going to be a pretty special matchup. 40 degrees, the temperature right now feels like 30, and the key is going to be the wind as Kirtland is about to come out onto the field. There's a poster that's out here, I believe that Kirtland's going to run through here at midfield, and getting that down because of the wind. I mean, you could just see it, and you could feel it out there too. So you got a hard football. The wind is really blowing tonight, but the running styles of both of these teams, the playing styles, it fits their identity. So this is going to be an exciting game tonight, Kevin.
It is going to be an exciting game. You can feel the energy, the anticipation for this one growing by the minute, just a few minutes away from kickoff. And here come the Kirtland Hornets through the marching band tunnel, about to run through the sign. And I'm sure the cheerleaders will appreciate that they can stop holding that sign as that wind is coming straight across the field tonight from the visitors' side to the home side. And they have ran through that banner and if you could not see as it was being blown around, a very interesting message to Garfield on that sign tonight, trying to say that they will be free next Saturday. But we have 2 really, really good teams, and Kirtland comes in 52 games, 52 wins in a row. That is the 3rd longest in high school football history, Ohio high school football history. It's the longest active streak in America. But you know Garrettsville Garfield has heard about this all week long. They think that they have the formula to go against the Kirtland Hornets and give them that first loss in 53 tries.
And you mentioned it before. This matchup and the matchup, the winner of this game will take on both undefeated. Everyone's undefeated here. So Kirtland, we know the story. We know the 52 straight wins. If this Kirtland team can win it all, the senior class will be 56-0, which is unreal. That is incredible. It's a story on its own to be told that these kids will never forget, in particular the senior class. But you mentioned Garfield G-Men. They're also undefeated. They also play pretty much an identical style of football as the Hornets. So basically, how can you face yourself, with the reflection of play? That's going to be critical here tonight. It's going to be fun. The weather, oh, yeah, who's going to be able to handle it? But this is going to be a great game tonight.
Now, with the coin toss just before we got on air, the Kirtland Hornets won the toss and they deferred. So they are going to kick off, allowing Garrettsville Garfield, the G-Men, to have the football first. And coming into the night, Kirtland has been tied or led in football games for the last 1,267 minutes and 1 second. That is 21 hours, 7 minutes, and 1 second heading into this week. Looking at almost 1,100 of those minutes, they have led in ball games. 88% of the time they have been leading. So that streak gets put on the line right from the beginning, and we are just about ready to get things started. Of course, tonight, Kirtland is missing their normal kicker, Johnny Ragu, so we wish him all the best. I believe he did suffer an injury, so we're wishing him all the best tonight. Kicking off to start things off, we may see a few kickers, but that is number 40, and that is Anthony Zweigel, and he is into the football at the 40-yard line, and that one will be taken by Garfield at the 8-yard line, up the right side of the field, over the 15. Patient, waiting for blocks in front of him, gets out across the 20-yard line, out to the 22-yard line, and that is where the G-men will start their first offensive possession.
Yeah, here we go. So we mentioned in our preview video, which you can see on Twitter, we mentioned the G-men. They got to come off and get this hot start here. They got a lot of fans here, so they got to be able to do this here today. So we'll see how they come out against this Kirtland defense, a stout defense. We saw them back against Perry. It's going to be incredible to see.
So the G-men will come out in a bit of a pistol formation and a quick run up the middle. And you're going to see a lot of rushing attempts from both of these squads here this evening. And that one out across the 25, out to the 27. So gain of 5 on first down. It'll bring up a second down and 5.
And we mentioned as far as like Kirtland seeing a reflection of itself, you got to figure out who has the football. They could go to multiple different options in that backfield. You cannot have your head locked in the backfield, especially if you're in the linebacking position.
G-men are led by their quarterback, Brody Swiganski, and their leading rusher, Anthony Dema, who will take the direct snap and only gain a couple. Good tackles in there by Kirtland to get in across that offensive line, who is, we talked about it before the game and not even in our preview video, AA. That is a stout offensive line for Garfield.
Yes, it is. And again, big guys up front there. You got somebody up there, Austin Roman, 66. He's 320 pounds. I mean, you got a 275-pound guy up there in that line. So you got a big line you got to contain there if you're the Hornets.
So shotgun formation. Looks like Dema has been taking some of these direct snaps, and he will, again, fake the end around. He's going to try to get outside across the 30, and he's got space in front of him. Just gets tripped up just shy of the 40-yard line at their own 39, but it'll bring up a first down, a gain of 10. And that will get the chains moving for Garfield as you see these offensive starters for the G-men.
Yeah, you look at the starters right there, and I want you guys as well to kind of zero in there. That was Roman, number 66 of that last play. Got that good kick-out block there, and that was key for the Garfield's first down.
So back come the G-men. And Swiganski will take this handoff or snap, and he will call his own number across the 40 out to the 42. Gain of 2 on the play. They had actually given them the 40 on that run by Dema. So gain of 2, bring up a second down and 8. 9:51 to go. Opening quarter, no score between Garrettsville and Kirtland.
Yeah, and as we look at the defensive starters here for Kirtland and the type of defense they run here, you got multiple linebackers up front here. So a matter of where you're going to see the linebackers kind of line up here is going to be critical.
Swiganski again will call his own number from the quarterback position. May have gained 1. They will move that down marker across the field 1 yard. So a 3rd and long now coming up. And AA, if you take a look at their offensive possessions and kind of how they set up, you can't tell who's going to get the snap between Swiganski and Dema. They almost look like they're kind of offensive linemen in a standing up position or, like no hand in the ground. That's how they set up.
How many defenses all year have said the exact same thing when they face Kirtland? So it's a reflection of themselves. And that's why this matchup, while you know what's coming, it's tricky.
Now Swiganski will be in the backfield all alone. He'll send Dema out here to the near side. And stoppage in play. Timeout Kirtland. They will take one of their first 3 timeouts early. 8:47 to go. The G-men of Garrettsville Garfield will be faced with a 3rd and 7 from their own 43 coming out of this timeout. And AA, just again looking at that, how do these linebackers kind of get through that initial set of blocks to find once a guy kind of squirts through. We know these running backs are going to get through that first level at times. How do they kind of sift through and figure out who's got the football when they're so disguised into who's getting the snap?
Well, that's where the film study throughout the week and practice comes into play, because each particular linebacker and defensive lineman has a particular assignment of, okay, these guys, this group is going to get the tailback. This person is going to be responsible for the quarterback. So communication is very important. You even see it right now, guys pointing, hey, I got this man, I got this man, I got this man. Communication is going to be huge in a football game like this.
Kirtland got their defense all up in the box. Swagonski's going to throw, and that one sails high up over the head of Ryan Stoller, who last week had a big game for the G-men. You look at Swagonski throwing last week. He was 4 of 7 for 191 yards. 135 of those went to Stoller in both touchdowns. He averaged 45 yards a catch last week, so not able to connect that time, and it'll bring up a fourth down and force the G-men to punt.
And also you'll see here, Kirtland, they run a 3-5-3 defense, which you don't see often throughout football. We'll talk about it throughout the game.
So this punt will be sent down inside the 25. It'll take kind of a G-men roll sideways and then north and south inside the 20. So a good punt to down Kirtland inside the 20-yard line. The punter for the G-men is Colin Lysak, and he is a weapon in the special teams unit with that leg of his tonight.
So, Kirtland, early scare there with the G-men getting the first down, but they did kind of settle in and kind of figure it out. The perimeter defense was huge, and now the offense is on the field. And what you saw offensively for the G-men, formation-wise, you're going to see the same thing here for Kirtland offensively as we get this thing going.
So Ramon Lascano, the quarterback for Kirtland, go under center. He will toss to Mason Russ, their leading rusher, and not much there at all on first down. Maybe a yard on first down, and they'll give him that yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, and that was Bates there in there too, and Keegan Sell getting in there too. Those guys you're going to be watching defensively for the G-men.
Kirtland kind of in a spread formation, but Lascano still under center. And he will hand off to Russ again, trying to churn those legs. And there's some tough 1- and 2-yard runs to start this ball game for Mason Russ. Ball spotted at the 24. It'll be a 3rd and 6 coming up.
When you run this type of offense, every single yard, I know it's like, oh, duh, every yard matters. But every single yard is calculated. So it may not look like much, but it does open things up. You need that if you're Kirtland.
Lascano again will hand off to Russ, or may have kept that one, but neither one was going to find any room trying to get through that defensive front for Garrettsville. This is a defense, AA, that coming in, they've only allowed 71 total rushing yards on 43 carries from their first 2 playoff opponents. So you know that they have already put in that film study and have the defense they want set for a rushing attack like Kirtland.
It's almost scary when you face yourselves. And both of these teams are feeling that here.
Gage Sullivan on to punt. Good side winding kick that will roll inside the 20. He'll keep going inside the 10. May get just inside the 5, right at the 5. It stops dead. What a punt from Gage Sullivan to flip the field position. Kirtland was kind of hemmed back, and now they push Garrettsville inside their own 10-yard line.
Jim Trussell would be proud of that punt. He would absolutely be proud. Youngstown State's own Jim Trussell. And again, this is going to be the type of game where that field position is going to be critical. Now, both of these teams, they got that first drive out of the way. They got it done. You kind of see the studies here. And I was mentioning the 3-5-3 defensive front. You don't see that front that often, and it allows for the linebackers for Kirtland to be more flexible defending the run and possible passes.
1st and 10, Garfield at their own 5-yard line, 6:47 to go, no score. Dema on the carry, not much there, maybe a half a yard. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
And again, just on that front, you're talking 3 defensive linemen, 5 linebackers. We ran the starters graphic earlier, and only 2 cornerbacks and a safety. So most times you have two safeties out in the field, your two corners, and your standard linebacker, standard defensive front. Not the case here with Kirtland, and this plays to their strengths, defending against, for the most part, the run.
2nd and 10 coming up for the G-men. Dema and Swagonski back there. Dema will just take the direct snap this time, trying to come around the outside. He gets around the 10-yard line, across the 15, gets knocked out of bounds at the 18-yard line, and that is a gain of 13 on 2nd and 10, and that'll give the G-men a first down and room to breathe.
Yes, it will, and the blocking is just incredible on the outside. Now, something to keep track of. Gage Sullivan did knock over a blocker in pursuit. He didn't make the tackle, the final tackle, but I want to see how aggressive these blockers are for the G-men as this game continues.
So 1st and 10 for Garfield. Ball spotted at their 18. Swagonski will take this snap, and he has not found much room when he takes the snap, just trying to lower his head and bulldoze his way up the middle.
Yeah, but there's so much traffic inside, in between the hash marks. But that's why the previous play on the perimeter, that's why it worked, because that was expected as far as like keeping things on the inside. The G-men went outside. That time, the G-men went inside, and you have a whole herd of Hornets ready to pounce.
So this time, Dema will be split out in the slot, and they will have, looked like Stoller went into the backfield that time instead of being split out. So Dema and Stoller kind of switching roles there and got kind of upended on that 3rd down play.
Yeah,
second down play.
Yeah, let's take a look here. It's just, again, just that containment is just so huge for Kirtland. So you gotta maintain that containment on the outside. And I would prefer to keep everything in between the hash marks. You can see everything, especially with the type of defense that Kirtland runs.
So 3rd and 10 and a switch of formation here for Garrettsville. Communication between the Kirtland defense look a little confused. Swagonski's going to try to go up over the top, and he has got a connection with his receiver on the far side of the field. Switching up formations had Kirtland a little off balance. Mason Russ on the coverage, but good hands catch on the outside, and it'll give Garfield a first down.
And I believe that was Dema who was able to make that play. What was interesting, though, the reason why they made that switch is because Kirtland had to respect that front. They overloaded the left side, preparing for the run. That's how they got the first down earlier in the drive. So Kirtland had to respect that, and G-Man hit him over the top.
Dema on the carries coming here to the left side, and he will be tracked down from behind by Philip Laverty, the coach's son. And a good tackle for loss, a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 for Garfield.
So what's interesting here now as we take a look at this, so you have the overloaded left side, and this time they're going to actually run it to the left. And oh, my goodness, the speed. The speed is just incredible there. And you have to anticipate that if you're Kirtland. So you get used to these fronts. That's why the first quarter sometimes is a little bit iffy. You get used to seeing these fronts, and how do you react to these fronts?
Already 3:24 to go in the opening quarter. Still no score. 2nd and 11 at their own 33. G-Men will hand off to Dema, then he will hand off to Stoller, and Stoller gets upended just over the 30-yard line at the 31. Another loss on the play, and this time Kirtland's defense finding a way through that offensive line.
And they're fast and disciplined, and that's why we talked about the practice throughout the week. What do you do when you do see the misdirection? And this is what the G-men, this is what they do. They like to mess around with things in the backfield, like the misdirections. And if you are fooled, that could have been a huge play for Garfield, but Kirtland discipline on defense. There's a reason why they have this long win streak. And right there, you kind of see it play out, setting up a 3rd and long.
So 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 at their own. They have it marked at the 32-yard line for the G-men. Swagonski, shotgun all alone. 2 receivers to the far side. Things open up. Swagonski makes a couple guys miss, and he will be tracked down over the 40 at the 41, but a few yards shy of the first down.
And if you're Kirtland, you take that. And the reason why I say that is because you basically your defenders lock down your receivers. So they did what they needed to do with pass defense. So if you're going to force the quarterback to run up the gut, you have somebody there ready to make the play. It was a 3rd and 12, so they made the stop, and they got the 4th down.
So Lysak will come back in to punt Kirtland with no one back deep. The deepest man is the back judge of the referee crew, and that punt goes straight up into the air, caught some of the wind like you saw earlier in the Ohio State University's football game against the Purdue Boilermakers. And this wind is wreaking havoc and is going to play a role all night long with football here in the state of Ohio.
Yes, it will, and that's going to be huge there. And with the wind, just taking that in there, that's critical. And that's critical with the field of play.
I believe the wind even messing with our stream here tonight. We apologize. Some technical difficulties going on. It is 1:31 left in the first quarter. No score. Kirtland will have the ball at their own 39-yard line. Ramon Lascano, the quarterback, will hand off to Mason Russ, and he'll actually keep it, faking the handoff to Russ, and he'll get stopped in the backfield. So this time, Garfield's defense coming up with a tackle for loss.
Yeah, and again, just barely getting back to the line of scrimmage, and with Kirtland just being back on offense, just churning out those yards. So far in this game, Garfield has ran 14 offensive plays for the Hornets. That was only their 4th offensive play of the game. So a lot of work here coming up.
So under a minute to go as our stream does come back here with the video. Russ on the carry, making a few guys miss, being tracked down, shoelaces tackle by Keegan Sell, who came into the night with 171 tackles, 92 solo. The next closest had 94 tackles on this squad, so you know he's going to be involved all night long. And quickly, Lascano out to throw, the left hand up over the top, trying to find it was Laverty. Good coverage in the back end by Dema, and on 3rd down, 3rd and 5, pass goes incomplete. It'll bring up a 4th down for Kirtland, and they will have to punt.
I would like to see Laverty there kind of just, and I know it's tough because you got to judge the win and the whole 9. Just keep going straight down the seam there. You had it right there, right then and there. Can't you tell this is a very tricky football game?
It is. Like we said, it's like looking in a mirror, and as Gage Sullivan takes the snap to punt this one away, another good punt going deep. That one will actually roll into the end zone. It'll be a touchback coming out to the 20-yard line. But it's truly looking in a mirror, and it's, can you find something in that playbook that maybe you've practiced or maybe you kind of have in the back pocket that, you know, these guys have played together for a while. You have senior-laden teams. These guys have been playing together for a long time. Is there that play that you haven't really put on film that can open this game up that neither team's defense is expecting?
That's the $64,000 question that people are looking to solve here. Good luck solving it, because these scores are going to be hard to come by.
So Garfield with the next chance to solve things with a 1st down and 10 at their own 20. Dema on the carry, trying to get to the outside right this time. He's had a lot of success coming around the left edge, but nothing doing on the right, and it'll go back for a tackle for loss for 4 yards, 2nd and 14.
And I'll mention this real quick before the quarter ends. Kirtland, they're starting to take care of responsibilities on the perimeter, and defensively, that's helping their cause through quarter number 1.
So as we stand, we come to the end of the first quarter. We hit the first quarter break. No score here in Perry, Ohio between Garrettsville Garfield G-Men and the Kirtland Hornets. You are tuned in to CVC TV's Game of the Week, High School Football Playoff Edition, Regional Semi Edition, and that is all courtesy of our presenting sponsor. That is the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. There are doctors Keith Schneider, Don Lewis, Jill Weber, and Jacqueline Tomsick. They will specialize in dental surgery, implants, corrective jaw and facial surgery, as well as trauma reconstruction. for all of your oral surgery needs. Visit their website, the Ohio Center for Oral Facial and Implant Surgery's website. That is www.ohsurgery.com, www.ohsurgery.com. We want to thank them for all of their support of the Chagrin Valley Conference, CVC TV, and, of course, these student athletes and all of their family and friends in attendance here tonight. We thank you for tuning in tonight on CVC TV. Kevin Arnold alongside AA Anthony Alford. Garfield coming out with a 2nd and 14 from their own 16-yard line. Swagonski wants to throw. He's going to roll to his left, throw across his body. No one home. The closest man to that was Joe Perrine, and that one will fall to the turf. So a 3rd and long deep in their own territory for the G-men.
And right now, and again, the G-men's try to solve that same question as well. I'll say this. Garfield, they was excited to be here. They was excited to be here, ready to go, ready to take on this challenge that is the 52 straight win Kirtland Hornets, who have not lost a game since the 2017 state championship. So they're ready to take this on.
And that was a Division VI state championship at the time as Kirtland has moved up to Division V and won the last 2 Division V state titles. And Swagonski was trying to set up a screen pass there. Nothing doing, throws it into the turf. And now the G-men will have to punt deep in their own territory. Kirtland flipping the field.
And that's what this game might come down to. It's going to be the field position battle. Try to figure out, okay, who's going to be able to kind of crack the code here and really get things going. And it's going to be interesting to see how Kirtland adjusts offensively and what they decide to do. Maybe they do kind of open things up in the air to start.
So Lysak back to punt, and this one almost got blocked. It may have gotten tipped, and that one comes off the side of the foot. And Kirtland will have great starting field position the first time inside Garfield territory at the Garfield 45-yard line.
And not being able to flip the field at all as we look at Kirtland's offensive starters. And somebody to watch, Gage Sullivan. He's been spotlighted on the punting front, but we watched Lozano and Sullivan warm up right in front of us on the sidelines. And Sullivan might have to play a huge role in this game if Kirtland's going to be able to come out here with a victory tonight.
Out come the Hornets. Final instructions from Coach Tiger Laverty, who has built one heck of a program in Kirtland, Ohio. Lozano will pitch to Tommy Gogolin, trying to find a little bit of space here on the near sideline. Gets a few yards, 4 yards on the carry, out down to the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6, 11:27 to go, second quarter. And quickly back to the line as they usually do. Kirtland, and Russ is free. He's inside the 20, and he will be pushed from behind. A great touchdown-saving tackle. That was coming up from behind Joe Perrine. Boy, what a tackle, but also finally Kirtland finding some room.
3 seniors on the offensive line, 2 juniors on that offensive line, a jumbo front up front there.
And again, quick handoff to Russ, this time only a couple yards, and he'll get down to the 13-yard line of the G-men, 2nd and 8.
And this is what Kirtland does. It's easy to say, like in the first quarter, oh, I don't know, this may not be looking as successful, but they wear you down, and it's showing right here.
The extended power I formation. 3 fullbacks, running backs behind Lozano. Lozano will pitch to Gogolin. Stiff arm at the 15, fighting for extra yardage and gets knocked out of bounds right back at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be a 3rd and long now in the red zone for the Hornets.
Boy, did this get interesting or what there. He tried to get the misdirection, but we said about the Kirtland defense, might not be able to utilize the misdirection. Can say the same thing about Garfield. They prepped it. They have the athletes to contain the misdirections and responsibilities. You got to attack these guys straight up here.
So Lozano back under center. Gogolin goes in motion. They'll hand off to Russ, dragging a few defenders inside the 10, and it'll go down to the 9-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 4, so it'll be 4th down and 4. And an interesting call here, especially with the kicking unit down their normal kicker, Johnny Ragouz. We saw a few guys warming up, and it looks like they will come out to attempt this field goal.
Yeah, we're going to kind of see here what's going to happen here with the field goal, and especially with the weather, Kevin. We got a west-southwest wind here coming out here, so it's going to be critical with this kick.
So the ball will be spotted down at the 18-yard line, a 28-yard attempt by sophomore Nick Barisic. And that one is up and through the uprights. The kick is good, giving Kirtland the opening lead on the scoreboard, 3-0 over the G-men.
And that is why the field position battle matters, because, again, you had the short punt by the G-men. Kirtland didn't have that much to go. They was inside the 40 to start their drive. And even though they didn't score the touchdown with the short field, few momentum plays, they're on the board first.
They are on the board first with 9:58 to go. Kirtland extending that streak of amount of minutes, amount of game time that they have led or been tied in the game. And again, they do crack the scoreboard first on that 28-yard field goal by Nick Barisic, and they lead 3-0, 9:58 to go. We thank everyone who is tuning in tonight on CVC TV, whether in support of Kirtland, Garrettsville Garfield, or just high school football in general. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are interested in sponsoring CVC TV, as we will be switching over to winter sports here soon.
Feels like winter.
It sure does outside. You can get involved. Head over to ChagrinValleyConference.com for all the details on how you can get involved. That's ChagrinValleyConference.com. So a quick kickoff that just goes straight up in the air. And AA, we've already mentioned it, but you can start to really see how strong and how difficult that wind is to kick in and play in down there on the field.
Yeah, and that had to be fair caught there, which you normally don't want to see on a kick return, but Garfield had to fair catch it. And that's critical because with the ball, you think everything's fine, and then the wind just cuts everything off. It's just sharp, and it just cuts it off. So that's going to be something that both of these teams got to contend with all game long.
So the G-men come out for their next possession. 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. As they all get set, Dema takes the direct snap, pushing the pile across the 25 out to the 28. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
And again, short chunk plays, and the G-men keep going up the middle. And that's your bread and butter. Your bread and butter, go up the middle, go between the hash marks. Give yourselves an opportunity. Go straight up against Kirtland. They got to do the same thing. They got to go man-to-man all 4 quarters in this cold weather.
So they'll push that one out to the 29, so they gave him an extra yard for Dema. And 2nd and 6, snap coming to Swagonski. He is back to pass, looking deep. Up over the top, and good defense on the back end by Kirtland. They had 2 guys bracketing the receiver. Looked like that may have been Perrine streaking down the field, but Gage Sullivan coming in to break it up.
Yeah, let's take a look here, and oh boy, and in the double coverage, because wide open, number 30, Ryan Stoller, was right there on the sideline there, so that was, for the G-men, kind of missed that one. But a good play set up, and Kirtland gets a break.
Perrine came in, the leading receiver, with only 11 receptions, 333 yards. So you can see the focus on the run game all season long for Garrettsville, and the main guy has been Anthony Dema, who has the ball now on 3rd and 6, and he gets stopped shy of the first down marker, 2 yards shy, 4th down and 2. Kirtland's defense comes up big again.
And we cannot mistake, because I thought that was going to be a big game for the G-men, but the speed of these linebackers, and again, and we cannot stress enough with this, the defense, the type of defense that they run, allowing 5 linebackers on the field at any given time, it showed right then and there.
So Lazak again will come on to punt, standing at his own 22-yard line. No one back deep for Kirtland again. And just a side winding kick. We've kind of seen that tonight, and it's working on this slick turf, kind of allowing these punters to get a little extra yardage on these short kickoffs, kind of taking the wind out of it and just sending those line drives down there. And that one gets downed by the special teams unit at the 25, and that is where Kirtland's next offensive possession will start with 8:26 to go in the first half.
Yeah, so over on digitalscout.com, they have the updated statistics of this game as we're going here. And the time of possession to me is vital because what you notice here, so far Garfield has doubled on time of possession, 9:22 compared to Kirtland's 4:40. But it's a matter of what you do once you get the football.
Lascano back to pass, going up over the top, looking for Sullivan, trying to reach back for that one down at the 46-yard line of the G-men, but two defenders back on Sullivan, and it just looks like when these quarterbacks trying to throw up over the top, that ball is getting caught up in the wind or just it's getting stopped by some sort of force, and the main force there on the field, something they can't control, which is Mother Nature.
Yes, and these defenders, as you see the Garfield starters, they're on the TV, or the screen there, rather. Some of you might be watching this on the TV.
Tommy Gogolin getting the end-around carry for a few yards out to the 28-yard line, gain of 3, so a 3rd and long quickly for this Hornet offense.
But to your point, Kevin, about the quarterbacks and trying to identify how to throw the football, it's the defenders. If you're in a secondary, this is the type of football game I want here because I know where the football is going. The receivers may not know where the football is going. The quarterback may not know exactly where the football is going.
So Lascano will take it himself, makes a man miss, and he is free across midfield. He is inside the 40, being chased down from behind inside the 30. A first down run, and Anthony Demo with the touchdown saving tackle, but Ramon Lascano, a heck of a run down to the G-men 29-yard line.
And it was a matter of who had the football because it was possible that 3 guys could have had the football and the quarterbacks just slipped right through, and before you know it, the G-men's like, he's already down about 50 yards down the field.
Hornets quickly back up to the line of scrimmage. Russ on his feet, trying to keep his feet. He will get the first down, but just getting tripped up, not able to run into the end zone. But now this Hornet offense finding a little rhythm with 7:24 to go.
And Russ wanted that touchdown. He saw the end zone. He wanted that score. And he was like, I could have stayed up. He could have stayed up and got the score. But now momentum is rolling for Kirtland.
Russ coming off a 4-touchdown performance last week. He will get the handoff again. And a host of G-men defenders coming in. And the first one to hit him, it's that man again, Keegan Sell. He is going to be a name we call a lot on defense here tonight.
And if I'm not mistaken, only a sophomore, by the way, as well. 5'11", 175 pounds. So to be that talented, to be the man of operations, and only a sophomore at this point, Kevin, in a big game, that's just a message to the rest of your team that we're not going to just lay down to Kirtland.
So Sell holding the Hornets to no gain on that carry, 2nd and 10. And Gogolin will get the carry, trying to go around the left end, and gets knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line after a gain of 2 to the 9. So now, again, another 3rd and long, and it's much more difficult to kind of get those open runs because the defense and the way they're set inside the 10-yard line, a lot less room to work with.
And throughout the season, take the last run, for example, you would have been able to run out to the perimeter and loop around and score. Kirtland's done that so many times this year. You got a fast team like Garfield, got to try some other tricks here.
Kirtland handing off to Russ. Russ pushing the pile, and he pushes his way in for the touchdown. Mason Russ from 9 yards out puts 6 on the board with 6:28 to go in the opening half, and Kirtland leads 9-0.
We mentioned how the lineman, you got to attack downhill. That's exactly what this lineman, the line did, and Russ driving right in for the score. He was like, look, after that long run earlier in the drive, he was like, look, I want it in on that end zone. They gave the ball back to him, and he made sure he got in the end zone.
So Barisic will on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Ramon Lascano, and that one will get blocked. Great job coming off the edge. They had 2 men there before Barisic even put a foot to the football. And coming in, that was Joe Perrine and Carter Bates.
Wow. I mean, so you get the momentum swing there with the Russ touchdown run, which was highly impressive after the Lascano big run up the middle. But special teams-wise, getting the block and, again, little plays. And this is what this stage of the playoffs is all about. You know, at this point, you're not adding any new plays. At this stage now, who's going to make those small plays? Who's going to make the difference-maker plays? And we saw it right there.
Well, we are so proud on CVC TV to bring this stage of the playoffs to you, and that is courtesy of our sponsors, including being a proud partner, the Chagrin Valley Conference being a proud partner of FRST, First Response for Sports Trauma Course, and Physicians Ambulance. Through this important partnership, FRST has helped prepare our first responders on the sidelines throughout the league to consistently and expertly respond to trauma on the field. Thank you to Physicians Ambulance and FRST for keeping our CVC community safe. For more information about this partnership, visit the Chagrin Valley Conference website. That's chagrinvalleyconference.com. So Kirtland will kick off a fumbled grab there by Garfield, and they'll try to go around the left side. Picking that one up was Ryan Stoller. Kind of had issues picking that one up off the turf, so he tried to go east and west. You can't do that for either one of these teams, against either one of these teams. With the speed we are seeing defensively and special teams units, you cannot go east and west. You better hit one hole and go north and south.
And, yeah, because we saw very few plays so far that have been successful going east or west. All the successful plays have been going straight up the gut, north and south. It's painful, but those are the plays that work.
1st and 10 for the G-men. Anthony Dema on the carry, slowly, patiently working his way through some of the blocks up there by his offensive linemen and wide receivers. He'll gain 4 on 1st down. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 6.
And I want to point out Joseph Coleman, number 24, for Kirtland. Even though he didn't make the tackle, the containment, him sliding his way down. That's why it took a while for the run to even develop, because you have that containment, able to slide down the line and force the play back inside. That's how you make plays against this type of offense.
Dema, Swagonski, hip to hip. Dema will take this snap again. He'll gain 2 out to the 30, so bring up a 3rd and more manageable. They will push this one out actually to the 31. We kind of see this week to week where, you know, these side judges coming in, there's a big discrepancy. It's only a yard, but there's more of a discrepancy than you see most of the time football getting spotted. But, you know, as these guys are kind of rolling over bodies, and it's tough sledding in there, AA, you know, it is tough to spot the football too.
It is, especially you got a bunch of traffic in there. It is really tough to really make that happen.
So the snap it was a direct snap. There was a lot of motion in the backfield, but a quick snap that doesn't go anywhere, trying to catch Kirtland off guard. They get a few yards out of that, but it'll be a 4th down and 1 deep in their own territory. An interesting call here as Wagonski's coming back off the sideline after having a conversation with his coach, Mike Mosier.
I'm not going to lie. It caught me off guard. I was like, wait a minute. Is there a penalty? I'm like, oh, the play's over. That was it. It was like, watch the chain game moving the thing down.
A power I formation. They try to get the Hornets to jump off sides, and they will take a timeout. Do the G-men trying to, after kind of catching Kirtland a little off guard on that 3rd down play, they were trying to get them to jump. These are 2 disciplined football teams, though. That is going to, if you get one of these 2 teams, well, their offense can get that defense to jump, you got to tip your hat.
I'm curious if the G-men will still go for it, only because, again, I mean, you're playing a field position game, but at this point you're down 9-0, and with both of these styles of play, every possession comes at a premium. I mean, we talk in a normal football game, you're probably getting, 15 possessions, per team, a little 10 to 15 possessions. It's going to be slightly less, in a game like this. As you look at the wind speed, that's part of it as well, Kevin. And we noticed that throughout the game, and that's why a lot of these throws have looked off. That's why a lot of these kicks have looked off. It's exactly what you saw there with the wind speed at an all-time high here this evening.
And the G-men came in picking up 3,747 yards on the ground all season long. You would think they're going to go for it. They feel like confident they can pick up a yard as Swagonski will take that direct snap. I don't know about the spot, and that looks like Kirtland is going to take over that defensive front, getting the push. Swagonski was never able to find much of a lane at all. It's all going to come down to the spot. They may bring the chains out to measure or just give it to Kirtland. We will wait the official word.
This will.
Whoa, they are signaling first down for Garfield, and to move the chains without even measuring on the field, and now a flag gets thrown as Coach Laverty is livid on the sideline. He was far out on the field, so this may be a penalty on Kirtland's sideline, but it looked like the spot where the side judges were coming in at, he may be short. It's interesting to see that they don't even bring the chains out to measure.
And that's what I was like, wait a minute, you don't bring that out here. We'll get the official particulars on the call momentarily. But remember, and again, for those tuning in maybe for the first time, this is not the state championship, meaning you're not going to get a replay. We could go back. If you're watching us through tape, you can rewind and look back at the spot, but there's no replay in live action until the state final.
So it's a first down and 10 for Garfield, and Dema is going nowhere but backwards. He gets stuffed for a 3-yard loss by Kirtland, and Kirtland coming out with a purpose on that defensive snap.
Yeah, in there, Patel's one of the guys in there as well. So defensively, okay, you get a call that you don't like. How do you respond? And Kevin, you mentioned it before about the perimeter plays. It ain't working so far offensively. So is this too much speed from the linebacker in defensive line positions for Kirtland?
Crowds are getting into it. Kirtland's fans right below us, cheering on their defense. Swagonski going deep, and that one goes way over the head, and yet a flag gets thrown, and they're going to call pass interference on Kirtland on a ball that might be uncatchable, but they may be deeming that the interference didn't allow the receiver to catch up to where the football ended up.
But still, the ball has to be the ball still has to be catchable. Let's find out here if it was setting his feet and throwing, and the ball was out of place. So the defender, I don't know about that one. I'm not sure about that one. But here's the critical part of the game. Kirtland, they're facing adversity. They didn't get a call, the fourth down call. It didn't go their way. The PI call didn't go their way here. So how are they going to face adversity once again? Critical part of the game.
First and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Swagonski back to pass again, going deep, and that one gets picked. Gage Sullivan coming up the near side, across the 40, over the 45, out to the 47-yard line. And they went to the well one too many times in the air, and Garfield pays for it. Gage Sullivan on the interception.
So the very question, how do you face adversity? How do you deal with it? And the Kirtland Hornets, Phil Laverty with the pressure up the gut to the quarterback. You had that taken care of. And in position, Gage Sullivan with the interception. And this is when you face teams with historic records like Kirtland's 52-game win streak, that is in your head. You feel like you have to make every play perfectly. And the G-men, they got ahead of themselves, and Kirtland able to get the ball right back.
Lascano will take this snap. Hand off to Mason Russ. Breaking tackles as he goes inside G-men territory over the 45 at the 41-yard line of the G-men, and the chains will move.
And they're rolling, and Kirtland has figured it out, and these players have figured it out against a G-men team full of mostly seniors. So you got the senior leadership, but Kirtland able to figure it out, make the adjustments, and now they're moving and grooving down the field once again here.
2:43 left. Kirtland leading 9-0. Lascano will take the first down snap from the 40-yard line. Russ pushes his way for 3 yards to the 37. A little extracurriculars as he was already on the ground, but Mason Russ gets up, gets back into the huddle, And we have a 2nd down and 7 at the G-men 36.5-yard line.
But remember, in the first quarter, that type of game was only for a yard, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Now a minimal gain is of 3 yards, so Kirtland is moving along here.
Starting to see that push as Russ has some space, and he gets inside the 30, pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line, and that's enough for another Hornet first down. The clock will stop momentarily, and they still have 2 timeouts to go in this half.
Yeah, we were scoreless in the first quarter, and again, Kirtland's offense, physical style of play, it ain't pretty in the first quarter, but in the second and third quarters and fourth quarter, the line starts to wear down defenses, and you're seeing it here.
First down and 10 from the G-men 26. Russ, again, keeping his feet. Good balance in those legs of Mason Russ, is kind of getting tripped up as he gets through that line, able to stay up long enough, and now he's starting to pick out 5 to 6 yards a carry.
Amazing. 6 foot even, 176 pounds, able to maintain his balance. It comes from the squats, comes from the weight room program. It's just incredible to see him slip through.
And Kirtland goes quick. Russ on the carry again, gets upended. Short gain over the 20, and it'll be down to the 18 of the G-men. Need the 16, so it'll be a 3rd and 2.
So this is the G-men's opportunity here to get that critical stop, but we may have a free play.
Quick snap. Mason Russ. The ball looked like it may have came loose. Tommy Gogolin picking that one up, and that'll be a first down for Kirtland.
That was and Kirtland does get the first down. I mentioned the free play because one of the Garfield's players did not make it off the field in time, but it was missed. But nonetheless, Kirtland does get the first down.
So first down inside the red zone at the G-men 12-yard line. Lascano going back under center. Mason Russ right behind him, fumbling the snap as Russ just kind of falls on it. And again, as soon as the guy goes to the turf in high school or football, play is dead, and allowing a little bit more action to happen in some of these plays as we tick under 37 seconds left. And Kirtland quickly back to the line. Lascano looking to throw, up in the pocket, gets away, rolling to his left, looking for someone to throw to, trying to direct Sullivan here to the near corner of the end zone, and that one goes wide of its target. So clock will stop. 3rd and 11 for Kirtland. 25 seconds left. Kirtland leading 9-0.
I credit Lascano for getting out of trouble, but what is being talked about right now with Coach is don't get yourself into trouble. And he kind of did, working his way inside the pocket, stepping into the pocket initially on the last play. Instead, just step back and kind of see the field as we have a timeout on the field for Kirtland.
So Kirtland will take their 2nd timeout of the half. They will be left with 1. They're going to talk about this 3rd and 11 play, and it is a good time for us to talk about our title sponsor, and that is the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Their practice will diagnose and treat your facial pain, injuries, offer you a full range of dental implants and bone grafting procedures. Look no further than the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery for all of your oral surgery and cosmetic surgery needs. Visit their website. We've said it once tonight. We'll say it again many times throughout the game. That is www.ohsurgery.com, www.ohsurgery.com. Thank you so much to everyone tuning in on CVC TV tonight. If you are just tuning in, Kirtland leads 9-0 here in a regional semifinal matchup with undefeated Garrettsville Garfield in a Division 5 Region 17 regional semifinal. Kevin Arnold up here in the press box alongside AA Anthony Alford and our CVC TV crew. Kirtland taking a timeout as the rain and sleet start to fall again.
That's looking more like snow.
Could be turning to snow with it getting so cold. 3rd and 11 for Kirtland. Ramon Lascano under center. He will take it himself, trying to get wide out to the far side. And good stretch play by Garfield's defense. Again, we've mentioned it. Just not able to get to the edge with all of this speed we are seeing on the field tonight.
And Kirtland is not happy about that because they know that you could have had the knockout punch with a touchdown in this drive, but instead, off of the interception, It may only get a field goal out of it. And the G-men, they may be going to the locker room saying, look, we're only down by a couple of scores, and we know we can play these guys.
So Barisic on to attempt another field goal. He'll be spotted down at the 17, so a 27-yard field goal this time. Kick is up on its way, and that one goes off to the left as this wind and snow starts to drive down. That is no good. So Garfield's defense gets the stop with 16 seconds left in the half.
And that was our guys down working the cameras. That was an excellent shot there because you actually saw the west-southwest wind, kind of pushing through and affects the kick. Look, you got a young kicker stepping in. He's a sophomore, stepping into this game situation, and you just don't know with the wind where the ball is going to go. And right now, 16 seconds left to go. It's only 9-0. And I know Kirtland, after the interception, they are not happy at this stage of the game right now. But, hey, this is what happens when you face better competition, and they got one of the few undefeated teams on the schedule ready to go here at this stage.
You got two teams that haven't really been tested all year long in their scores, as Anthony Demon will take this 1st and 10 snap with the 10 seconds left, and he gets run out of bounds. He gets up the sideline, and they actually will mark him out after a gain of 5 at the 25-yard line. So clock stops, 9 seconds left. AA, you look at these two teams being challenged, and yeah, it's a close football game. You're going to get better competition as it goes. Kirtland outscoring their opponents 43 points to 6 average throughout the year, and for Garrettsville, 41 to 13. So haven't been challenged much. How can you come back from this kind of adversity we've talked about all night long?
It's going to be something. We'll talk about it more momentarily.
Dema on the carry. He's got green turf in front of him, trying to find his way, pick his way through, was trying to cut back to the left where there was a bunch of open turf for him to run. But that will bring us to the end of the first half with your score. The Kirtland Hornets 9, Garrettsville Garfield G-Men nothing. AA Anthony Alford and myself will be back after the halftime action. You will get both the Garrettsville Garfield and Kirtland Hornet marching bands. Get all of that action at halftime. Until then, stay tuned to CVC TV. We'll be back for all your second half action in the Division 5 Region 17 regional semifinal matchup here on CVC TV, presented by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery.
Yeah, it's down under right. She notarized the title.
Carry on, wayward, done!
19 years of the standard business. We kept progressive and still did some side stuff, you know. So, 9 years ago. Chagrin
Please go to the dog. Paint black.
Your son's my age, but fuck it out, but still. First of all, that guy was not on. Exactly. Right in front of him. Oh my God. And then down there, he just had his hand on the guy. He was in front of him. Yeah, and the ball was about 6 And again, I've seen you driving the truck through 306 a couple of weeks ago, maybe. Came back from Myrtle Beach today. Oh, yeah. Down there for a week playing golf. Absolutely. That's got to be a shock. From that to this. What was the temperature when you looked today?
Is a yellow ticket. His number is 106901. Again, yellow ticket 106901. If you have that winning ticket, please come to the press box and win your winnings of $76. The press box located on the home side of the stadium. And you will be one of our representatives underneath the press box here on the home side of the stadium.
He's old.
Welcome back inside the press box here at Alumni Stadium in Perry, Ohio for your CVC TV Game of the Week Playoff Edition, Regional Semifinal Edition. Kevin Arnold alongside AA Anthony Alford. We are brought to you by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. And as we get ready to start the third quarter, Kirtland leading Garrettsville Garfield 9-0. And Kirtland will get the football to start. Looking at the first half, Mason Russ with the only touchdown of the half, 9 yards out. The PAT attempt did get blocked, so Kirtland with a field goal and a touchdown, and then not able to convert on a field goal to kind of extend that lead at the end. Garfield's defense holding up. And AA, you and I were talking about it just before we came back on. The story of that first half really is defense, but it's the speed and speed with a purpose by both of these defenses. They are getting to their spots. They are disciplined, and Kirtland just taking advantage of a couple opportunities, and that's what has them leading in this ball game.
And for those who are just joining us, you have both of these teams. They run pretty much the exact same offense. I mean, how often can Kirtland say to this point, really over the last few seasons, that they're facing a team that essentially runs everything that they run and pretty much has the exact speed and level of talent that they do. And we have that in this matchup tonight in a what the Weather Channel is calling a wintry mix now out there too. The wind has been a huge factor as well. You kind of see the rain and the snow and the mix kind of going across. That's, west-southwest more so like, of those winds. So that's going to affect the kicks and the passes throughout the second half.
We're just about ready to get the third quarter underway. Colin Lysak has the ball, going to be teeing up the football here in just a moment. Back deep for Kirtland will be Gage Sullivan and Tommy Gogolin standing at their 20 and 18-yard respectfully. Now, Garfield coming into the night averaging 312 rushing yards a game. At halftime, they're being held to 77. Kirtland came in averaging 290. They have 159 yards at halftime on 24 carries. And we already mentioned Garfield holding opponents the last two playoff games to 71 yards total rushing, as Lysak's kick sidewinds out of bounds, and that'll be an illegal procedure penalty, and the ball will come out to the 35-yard line.
So we've made jokes about Jim Trussell, talking about the field position battle, but that's been critical. It's been critical to this point. Now, where Garfield has something to stand on here, at the end of that first half, as they make that penalty official, Kirtland, and you mentioned it, Kevin, they had the short field as well. Was trying to drive down the field. The missed field goal there kept the G-men not just in this game, but gave them confidence going back into the locker room.
Looks like we are going to re-kick this football, and as the clock goes from 11:55 left in the third quarter right back to 12 minutes. So kind of rewind, erase everything you just saw the last 5 seconds, and start anew here in the half as
with better field position, of course.
Better field position. So they will actually mark off the penalty, and Kirtland forcing them to kick off again. So Kirtland trying to utilize some of that speed they have back deep. They've moved Lascano, the quarterback, Ramon Lascano, who is a pretty good runner himself, back deep with Sullivan and Gogolin. And they are now standing just over their 25-yard line, awaiting this kick, trying to get a few extra yards to start off their first possession of the first half, or second half, excuse me. So referee blows his whistle. Special teams unit from the G-Men is ready to go, and that one is kicked short. Gogolin will pick it up at his 29-yard line, gets over the 35, over the 40, and will be wrestled out of bounds over the 40 at the 42-yard line, and that is where Ramon Lascano and this Hornet offense will get things started.
So we were talking, it's like, wait a minute, Mason Russ, was able to, get those yardage. Like, wait a minute, where did some of those yards come from? The last few possessions in the second quarter, Kirtland was able to run in between the tackles, up the middle of the field. So I want to see adjustment-wise, Garfield, what they're going to do. Are they going to blitz a little bit more on the inside? We'll see with Kirtland and how this is going to be defended here.
So Lascano will hand off to Russ, and he is free. Up the right sideline, inside the 40, the 30, down inside the 20. He makes a cut and a spin, getting rustled inside the 15, and he'll be stopped just shy of the 10-yard line at the G-Men 13-yard line.
Yeah, and this is what we were just talking about here. Up the middle and the line. Oh, my goodness, what a block there up front. And Russ just takes it the rest of the way. And this is what Kirtland, this is who they are at their best. This is their DNA. This is who they are as a football team. They will keep attacking you and force you to stop it.
So those 97 yards in the first half for Russ may have felt quiet. That run was not quiet from Russ as we have a flag come out. Lascano taking the snap himself. It'll be a legal procedure against Kirtland, backing him up 5 yards, and it'll bring it to a 1st and 15 from the G-Men 18-yard line.
And my apologies, I missed it on the last replay, but there was a monster block from one of the linemen that really set up that huge run by Russ. So if you're able to go back, if you're watching this on tape here, go back to that play and watch the monster block there. It was incredible.
11:04 left in the third quarter. Pitch coming out to Russ. He's got green turf in front of him, pushing his way inside the 5-yard line, down to the 3. And Mason Russ taking care of business. 15 yards and a first down and goal for Kirtland. Actually, they'll stop him just shy, maybe a half a yard shy, as the down marker on the far side has the number 2 for second down, and Kirtland goes quick. Lascano takes it himself and try to push for that first down and goal, and waiting the pile to be unfurled as bodies being picked up off the turf, and it is a first and goal Kirtland at the G-Men 2-yard line.
And that's what happens again. You know, going back to that big run a little bit ago, once you set up your the inside, and you establish. This is Kirtland football. Like, okay, good luck with containment. And you saw the big run there for Kirtland, and they're looking to pounce here.
Lascano under center and pushing his way for the end zone. Touchdown, Kirtland! As they had 3 guys in the I formation, but it looked like Mason Russ, another touchdown, his second of the night, 2 yards out.
And, yeah, this is how it was set up. And, again, you're wondering who's going to get the football and how's Russ going to get the football. And they did right there, able to get in, set up that score. And that, if you want a drive that defines the offense for the Kirtland Hornets, that drive right there, that was the drive that really set the tone for who they are as a football program.
And Philip Laverty helping his teammate out, helping push him towards the goal line as Russ just kept those legs churning, and Kirtland will go for 2. Russ will get the carry, and the 2-point conversion is no good. So 6 points put on the board by Russ again, extra points, 2-point conversion, all the same, fails for Kirtland, and they lead with 9:55 to go in the third quarter, 15-0.
That was an efficient drive. And again, like with Kirtland, it's like, okay, how can we get things going? How can you get things going? And that's what it was. Mason Russ, these last few drives of the second quarter, it got going in the third quarter, and the line up front, when you are committed to your assignment and blocking up front at first level and second level, Kevin, this is the ingredients to a championship football team.
And that drive was the Mason Russ show for sure, as, again, he had come in to this half with 14 carries and 97 yards. He is up to 17 carries, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging almost 10 yards a pop now, when in that first quarter it was scoreless, and Russ, Lascano, Gogolin, all of these runners that we've seen all year long for Kirtland. On the other side for Garfield, Anthony Demma, who's been their big rushing attack weapon for them all season long. 1 2-yard runs. Kirtland finding a way to break through and start to pop some big runs. Kirtland will kick this one away. Garfield picking that up at their 15-yard line, and they will get it out to the 30.5-yard line, and that is where Garfield will have their first possession of this second half.
Well, it's a two-possession game. Remember, again, because of the missed field goal, the block extra point, the failed two-point conversion, it's, again, only a two-possession game here. But you get the feel here, Kevin, that Garfield has to do something big and have to get some form of points on the board, and because they cannot let this game slip away. And if you're the Kirtland defense, pounce on Garfield and put it away.
Well, whether from their quarterback, Brody Swagonski, or their running back, Anthony Dema, who takes the direct snap across the 30, over the 35, out to the 38-yard line, their own 38. There'll be a gain of 7, bring up a 2nd and 3. One of those two guys is going to have to make the big play, or if Swagonski can connect down the field like he did last week with Ryan Stoller for those 2 long touchdowns, that is kind of the big play they need. Kirtland is in front 15-0, but leaving points on the board, those are critical mistakes, especially in a tight ball game in the playoffs like we are right now. Swagonski will take this snap himself. Double A, we mentioned in the first half, it's this unique formation from, while the rushing attacks are pretty much the same, it's a different approach. Kirtland, Lascano's going under center. Garfield, they have both Dema and Swagonski close enough to where the center is snapping and snapping back to that shotgun formation. It is so tough to figure out who's going to get the football. Kirtland has done that film work, though.
And again, you're right. And again, with this 3-5-3 defense, every player on defense has their assignment of what to do depending on who gets the football.
Kirtland was showing a late blitz there. Swagonski got that out quick, looking for Stoller on the far side, in and out of his hands, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 at their own 41-yard line.
Football was hanging up in the air a little bit there after the pressure up the gut. And I thought it was a catchable ball, but when you hear footsteps out there, it changes things, and it did right there.
Looked like Laverty was coming on a delayed blitz from his linebacker spot. Got picked up, but enough pressure on Swagonski to kind of rush that throw, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. Snap will come low to Dema. He'll give it to Stoller coming around the edge, and Laverty with a great shoestring tackle with a lot of space in front of Stoller, and it'll bring him to a 3rd down, gain of 4 or 5. It'll bring 3rd and medium for the G-men.
And again, that 3-5-3 front for Kirtland, because that might have been a touchdown-saving tackle right there, because there was a lot of room offensively if that play was not made.
8 minutes and a ticking 3rd quarter clock. Kirtland on top, 15-0 in this regional semifinal. Dema on the carry, trying to get around the edge on the far side, going from this near hash to the far side of the field, east and west, for both teams, not working at all.
And I'm a little surprised, again, that I understand the idea. You got to keep these guys honest. But Garfield has had success going up the gut and just decided not to do it as well. But critical part of the game right now, and Garfield, you feel like they absolutely need to get this 1st down.
4th and 4 from their own 47. They must get into Kirtland territory at the Kirtland 49 for a 1st down. 7:12 to go. Snap comes to Dema, fakes the handoff, and gets stuffed after a yard gain. Boy, Kirtland saw that one coming, tried a little misdirection. Kirtland defenders staying home, and they will take over on downs.
Yeah, what a play there. Will Saley able to make that play, and just incredible, just being, again, the right place, right time. And you saw that there with the Hornets, and they get the turnover on downs, and the defense stepping up. And you see their practice and the film study coming to life in this game.
So Kirtland will start this possession inside G-men territory. Russ with the carry for a gain of one or two, depend on the spot, but a short gain on first down. And this is a critical drive defensively, you would think, for the G-men. They have to find a way to get off the field and get that offense back out there.
Yes, and a good start there only with the yard gain. The big thing here for the G-men is limiting the big plays. And that happened in the first quarter. But, again, the physicality of this Kirtland offense, good luck doing that in the second and third quarters in this stage right now.
Lascano will trying to connect with Sullivan, who just kind of leaked out in the left flat. And a lot of bodies, a lot of G-men defenders surrounding Sullivan, and that one will fall to the turf. So 3rd and 9 now from the G-men 47, 6:23 left.
And a lot of times we don't talk about the clock in the third quarter in a relatively close game, but in a game where possessions come at a limited time, stopping the clock with that incomplete pass, that helps the G-men in this case.
Lascano will fake the handoff, gets Gogolin. He's got space in front of him. Gogolin just slipping on the turf inside the G-men 30-yard line and slides to a stop on the far side. First down, Kirtland.
And let's look at the replay here. First off, good fake there. Way to be honest, taking that. Now, I'm curious talking about the clock, being mindful of the clock, slipping, staying inbounds, keeping that clock rolling for Kirtland. They're thinking ahead. That's a chess move right there, thinking ahead here instead of playing checkers, and that's exactly what happened there with Kirtland.
Toss sweep now to Gogolin, and he will spin his way inside that 25-yard line down to the 21-yard line, a gain of 4 on first down, 2nd down and 6.
So, again, a critical part right here. Now, remember, earlier in the latter part of the second quarter, G-men were able to get a stop in the red zone defensively. So, if you're Kirtland, obviously you know how important it is to open the game up at this stage. I like what they're doing right now, having 2 receivers up top spreading the ball out.
Lascano will hand to Russ, fighting for extra yardage, trying to get to that first down markers. Needs to get to the 15, maybe half a yard shy, so it'll be 3rd and short for Kirtland. Now, they've been going quick on offense, especially in these kind of circumstances, now kind of allowing and using clock tonight, and Lascano kind of going over to Laverty, his coach, Tiger Laverty, to get that final play call.
But that's what makes it interesting here. Offensively, they showed a look of a pass and you run. Previous plays, you showed a look of a run and you pass. It's tough to defend that.
Tough to defend the RPOs. Lascano able to get the first down and almost able to squirt through for a little bit more yardage, but he will get the first down to the 11-yard line. They are inside the red zone and driving again, looking to put this drive away and really take control of this football game.
They have the opportunity to do so here and to do it at their pace, going in the huddle and being assigned. But again, all this is done with a purpose. I mean, there's a purpose to the pace, the tempo of the game here.
Lascano will hand off to Russ, who gets able to get down to the 6-yard line. He'll gain 5 on first down, so 2nd and manageable here for Kirtland. Getting what they want, those 4-5-yard runs, and really allowing that physicality to wear on this G-men defense.
Mason Russ already with 2 touchdowns, just looking for the hat trick here tonight in the end zone. And you got to wonder in this case how badly he wants the football in this situation, a second ago.
Lascano pitches wide to Gogolin, trying to get to the edge, trying to sneak in on that near side, gets pushed out of bounds. Good stretch of the G-men defense to get him out of bounds, and it'll be a short gain. They need to get to the 1. They're at the 3, so a 3rd down and 2. It'd be crucial here if the G-men could try to handle or push Kirtland into the decision whether you kick the field goal or go for it on 4th down.
And I wonder in this case, too, first off, for Gogolin, able to get that big run there, he breaks off. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle this.
Russ with the carry, and he will get knocked backwards back to the 4-yard line, lose a yard. So decision time for Coach Laverty and this Hornets team. Do you kick the field goal? Do you
Offense wants to go for it.
do you solidify that 2-score lead, and where you don't allow a team to score a touchdown and an extra point and 2-point conversion? They're just going to go for the field goal, just extend this or try to extend this lead. Tonight, kicking for Kirtland, if you're just joining us, their usual kicker, Johnny Raguse, is out due to injury. So tonight it is Nick Barisic, the 5'10 sophomore, and he's into it with his left boot. Goes right through the uprights and good. 3 points added to the scoreboard off to our right with 2:43 to go. Kirtland leading 18-0 over Garrettsville Garfield.
And that was Coach Laverty. Just his players, his offense was like, we got to go for it. It was already at this point, we can go. And the coaching staff said, let's take the points. Let's make a business decision. Go up now by 3 possessions. Kirtland 18-0. The scoreboard may say, oh, it's kind of close here, but Kirtland kind of asserting their dominance here.
Kirtland asserting their dominance here on CVC TV, which is brought to you by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. Their doctors Keith Schneider, Don Lewis, Jill Weber, and Jacqueline Tomsick specialize in dental surgery, implants, corrective jaw, and facial surgery, along with trauma reconstruction. For all those oral surgery needs, visit the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery website at www.ohsurgery.com. That's www.ohsurgery.com. We thank them for their support of CVC TV, Chagrin Valley Conference, and all of the student athletes and families here this evening. So Anthony Spiegel's kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback. AA looking at Coach Mike Mosier, who's in his 9th season. He's 64-31 overall in his time with the G-men at Garrettsville Garfield. What is his message right now? You have a little over 14 minutes left in this football game. How does this team kind of get back in it and try to kind of play-by-play maybe find that momentum here at the end?
I'm looking at the offensive line and saying, hey, let's create some opportunities here. Let's push downhill, down the field. And I'm starting with the line and then continue to push. Anthony
Demma will take the handoff, cuts right and cuts back up left for a quick gain of 5 out to the 25. Will bring up a 2nd down and 5. You know that Coach Mosier in this G-men offense, they've been running the football all year long. For both of these teams, it's been a run. You know they're not going to shy away from that. They got to find a way to get the big play, though, to not use up too much of the time with these little 5-6 yard runs up and down the field.
I agree, but they also have to be consistent. There has to be some rhyme with their play calling as well. If they go for the big strike and don't get it, then it kind of kills their drive here. So it's got to be consistent.
Demma with the carry again and trying to push over that 25-yard line. Gets out to the 26, or 27, as the shy judge here on our near side steps from the 26 to the 27. So they'll give him a gain of 2, 3rd and 3.
So you're at a stage here. You got the 3rd and short here coming up. And so if you're the G-men at this stage right now, the key is necessarily who is going to get the pass play. It's a little tough here to identify, and we're going to find out soon here because right now they are, 4 receivers out? So it kind of gives a good indication of what the G-men kind of want to do.
3rd and 3 from their own 27, 2 receivers either side. Swiganski will fake the pass and try to push his way out to the 30 for the 1st down. And looks like he is about half a yard short. And decision time for the G-men. This time, unlike the first half, they will bring the chains out to measure to see where the spot of the football got Garfield and see if they got the 1st down or if it's going to bring up a 4th down. They'll just keep it at 4th down, it looks like.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, you got 4 receivers spread out, but the disciplined Kirtland defense, Coleman standing there, the senior linebacker, was there in position to make the play. And that's been the tough part. Kirtland has been in position in almost every play defensively.
As the Kirtland fans just below us start to stomp their feet, make some noise for their defense, Dema will take the handoff and gets the first down and more. Pushes his way out close to their own 35, out to the 33. Gain of 4 on 4th and 1, and that'll be a first down, but a lot of time coming off the clock here to end the third quarter.
Yeah, and this might be the stage where I like to see Garfield kind of pop one up top. Try to surprise Kirtland defensively and get something over the top. But again, they're not shying away from their DNA, the bread and butter, lining up front.
1st and 10 at their own 34. Swagonski fakes the run. Now he'll pass up over the top as AA just was looking for, but that one goes short. Dema was streaking down the sideline, but blanketed coverage on the far side of the field. That may have been Russ on Dema. So running back on running back, and Russ gets the better end of that deal.
Yeah, and I'll say this again. You're the G-man. You got the matchup. You run it there. But in that situation there, Russ, who does identify defensively as a linebacker, you want those positions. But every linebacker is taught in this program to defend the pass as well, and that was well covered.
So 2nd down and 10 now. 18 seconds left in the third quarter. Dema gets the snap. He'll hand off to Stoller, who's got some room on that far side. He gets the first down, gets pushed out of bounds, just shy of midfield. And now Garfield's finding some room out there on this Perry Pirate turf, getting a drive together just when they needed it most.
Yeah, and this is what you want at this stage if you're Garfield. Now, if you're Kirtland, and I like to see it here, and you are seeing it, okay, let's communicate. Who's going to be the leader on defense to communicate? Hey, you got to get back in position. This is what they're doing.
11 seconds left in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from their own 47. Dema takes the snap and may have another first down. 10 yards on the play inside the 45 of Kirtland at their 43, and Garfield on the move.
And this is how they're figuring it out. Good driving up the field, and this is the G-men at work. And Kirtland right now, they're trying to figure out in this drive as the quarter comes to a close, okay, where do we align? Where are we aligning as the G-man kind of opens up the playbook here in a drive that could be the last saving grace here for Garfield if they want to continue on in the playoffs.
So we do hit the end of the third quarter. Kirtland on top of Garrettsville Garfield in this Division 5, Region 17 regional semifinal, with the winning team going on to the regional championship next Saturday night. Before we get there, a saving grace for everyone here in the Chagrin Valley Conference community, and a proud partner of CVC TV is FRST, First Response for Sports Trauma Course and Physicians Ambulance. Through this partnership, FRST has helped prepare our first responders on the sidelines and throughout the league to consistently and expertly respond to trauma on the field of play. We want to thank Physicians Ambulance along with FRST for keeping our CVC community safe. For more information, visit chagrinvalleyconference.com. 1st and 10 to start the fourth quarter. Dema on the carry. Couple yards on first down. He'll bring up a 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, and this is, as we get back into action here, and Garfield just has to be patient. Now, again, if you're the Kirtland defense, just lock in on the assignments. This is going to be, you're playing the long game at this point. You're playing the long game. I want to see the strategy here between the coaching staffs here in this drive.
And we'll have a stoppage in play as Garfield will take their first time out of the half. They will be left with 2 the rest of the way. 11:23 to go in the ball game. Kirtland on top, 18-0. And I think something interesting here in this situation, Kirtland has not put on the offensive firepower that we've kind of seen all year long, but they're doing what they need to and taking advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. But it's 18-0. We saw last week they were up 37-0 after the first half. They did not score in half number 2. Their focus, keeping a 0 on the scoreboard. Manchester had a chance. They were at the Kirtland 5-yard line. It was a running clock last week. Kirtland talked, and all their players talked after the game. Referees were telling them, you guys already have this game. Why are you guys still playing? Why are you guys still playing? We want the shutout. We want the shutout. And that's what Coach Laverty and their defensive coordinator for Kirtland, Coach Ryan Beeler, is telling this defense as well.
Perfection. This is the type of programs they look for perfection in a game like this.
Swagonski going deep down the far sideline. Dema looking for a call on a bit of a wheel route on 2nd down and 9. And there is no flag on the field, so it'll be a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, let's take a look here and kind of see what the setup was. There was pressure right up the gut. And again, quarterback was not able to step into his throw because of the pressure off the edge. So that had a lot to do with the misfire for Garfield. And this has been that kind of day. Even when you feel like you have opportunities, even when it looks like, you know, your receiver is open, something happens up front and you can't execute the ideal play call that you finally get against this Kirtland defense.
And sophomore Gino Blasini, who had a scoop and score off of a fumble created by Gage Sullivan last week, had good coverage on that play. So 3rd and 9. Swagonski back in the pocket, gets away from a few defenders, pushes his way close to the 35 at the 36. They need to get to the Kirtland 33-yard line, so they are going to be 3 yards shy. And at this point, you're in the 4th quarter. You're down 18-0. It's 4-down territory all quarter long.
And Kirtland will take that all day long. You get the what initially the coverage sack, if it would have been a sack, all the defenders in the backfield taking care of business. So I'll take the quarterback scrambling up the field and falling short if you're the Kirtland defense.
Huge play here for both sides. Garrettsville Garfield faced with a 4th and 3 from the Kirtland 36-yard line. And as Garfield was motioning an offensive lineman from one side to the other, Coach Laverty, Coach Beeler want to bring their defense over and talk to them. And this is a good time to remind all of you, thank you so much for tuning into CVC TV. We want to thank, of course, our sponsors, Ohio Center for Oral Facial and Implant Surgery, along with FRST and Physicians Ambulance. If any of you out there tuning in to the game tonight are interested in sponsoring CVC TV as we get close to turning the page to the winter sports, as the weather has clearly shown here this evening, if you are interested in sponsoring CVC TV in any form or facet, go ahead, get more details at chagrinvalleyconference.com.
So here we go, the 4th down, and just settling in here. Defensively, I am curious to see, okay, there's still going to have to be somebody on the quarterback, but these linebackers, they're going to be flying all over the place.
10:28 to go, 4th and 3 for Garfield. Swagonski back, looking to pass. He's got Stoller wide open down the near sideline, and he goes in from 36 yards out. Swagonski to Stoller for 6. And with 10:21 to go, pending the extra point attempt, it is Kirtland 18, Garfield 6.
All right. I mean, my goodness there. And credit Garfield because, quite honestly, that was the game. And Garfield able to convert that, find the open man, and that's the only thing against this defense, a 3-5-3 front, leaving the safety all alone, and able to make that play.
Lysak on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Brody Swagonski, the quarterback that just threw that 36-yard strike. Lysak's kick goes through the uprights, and it is 18-7 Kirtland. 10:21 to go in the 4th quarter. And now the pressure switches to that Garfield defense to try to get a stop. Your offense just found some momentum, found some success, got the big play they were looking for. Plenty of time left in this football game. Both teams with 2 timeouts. Can the G-Men defense get a stop against this Kirtland offense? Can the Kirtland offense just continue to impose their will physically? How does either team find a way to have success with one of those two?
Or Oh, there's that or there.
Or
Or
option C.
Option C, onside kick. Maybe this early. Maybe. And I only bring that up because if Kirtland gets the football back and Garfield's not able to get the stops that they need, Kirtland could easily pull off a 7 to 8 minute drive that would effectively end this game, put it away. So if they decide to kick it off here, which is the smart play to do here, it's going to be imperative for Garfield to force a 3-and-out as quickly as possible.
As Kirtland looks like they are prepared for it as they bring their hands team on. And Gage Sullivan, who's usually back deep on kickoffs, comes up to the 50-yard line, and referees kind of motioning to Kirtland. Looks like thought I saw a flag on that extra point attempt, and there's some discussion between the referees. It looked like they were going to push Kirtland back and bring the kickoff up from the 40. Looks like a personal foul against Kirtland, so there was a penalty called, and it's going to get enforced on the kickoff. A delayed call there.
Oh, that's huge. That is huge because now if you decide to go for the onside kick here and you get it back here, and the hands team for Kirtland has to be locked in, ready to go here, especially on this short field.
So Gogolin and Lascano are back deep. Sullivan moves up along the 35-yard line as the football falls off the tee, and Lysak will reset.
And here's the other thing, too. Now with the wind really pushing, you see it there right there on the shot. If that ball cannot stay on the tee, that's one less guy that's going to be able to help out with an onside kick because one of the players is going to have to hold the football if it falls off the tee again.
Lysak has it teed up. Football stays on that tee, and he will just kick it off into the end zone for the touchback. So Kirtland will take over. No time coming off the clock on that kickoff. 10:21 to go. Kirtland hanging on to their 18-7 lead, looking to move on to another regional championship game.
And we had this conversation before the game. For a team that is as successful as Kirtland has been, again, longest active winning streak in America right now with 52 straight wins. Sometimes it's hard to believe this. Sometimes it's a little tough for a team like Kirtland to get up for playoff games in round 2, round 3. So they're up for a challenge here. They needed this game.
Lascano calls his own number, and he will get dropped in the backfield. Kind of comes up hobbling a little bit, only because his shoe, he ran out of his shoe, got pulled out of his shoe by the defender. So 10:06 to go. Clock will continue to roll. 2nd and 11 from their own 19.
And I want to mention that, too, because you got to think of it from the player standpoint, the coaches, and even the fans. And I know it's a situation like, the success at this stage, but every week it's a new challenge, and the field in football is more balanced every week.
Tommy Gogolin will get the handoff. He's coming over the left side, gets knocked out of bounds over the 25-yard line. Looks like they may be spotting him at the 27, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 2 now. And that was the kind of the bigger play that Kirtland was looking for to kind of keep ahead of the chains on this drive.
And we'll see if Kirtland, they're kind of stuffing the inside here, so I like this.
Rocco Alfieri coming in late for Kirtland. Handoff goes to Russ, and he gets the first down out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 on a gain of 8.
What makes Russ so talented is that it is hard to bring him down with the speed that he brings. He attacks the football right up the gut, and it's just hard at initial contact to bring him down. And when you do get him down, he's going to fall forward for an additional 2 to 3 yards, like it happened on that last play.
So the first down for Russ and the Kirtland Hornets, and more importantly, forces the clock continue to roll as we tick under 9 minutes to go in this one. Kirtland on top, 18-7. Looks like Russ on the carry again, and a few yards out to the 40, possibly a 41-yard line. 4 or 5 on that play. 2nd and 5, we'll call it, based on what the scoreboard has listed here in the stadium.
And watch how many people Kirtland's going to have lined up at, the offensive line position. You put in the tight end. You put in, your up back in there as well. So you line those positions up right there in that line and call this maximum protection here.
Handoff up the middle and close to a first down. Looks like it will be a first down again. Mason Russ, gain of 6 on 2nd and 5, and they'll just keep those chains moving. 8:14 to go. Clock rolls as the chains get set.
And again, Mason Russ, part of the senior class, who, if they could pull this off here tonight, the senior class will be 53-0 as a class, for Kirtland. So he's a part of it. He wants it bad here tonight. And I know they're upset they don't get the shutout here, but they want to get that championship closing drive.
So one of those seniors, Lascano, going for the handoff, had to pull it himself as the Garfield defense got in, and Lascano is slow to get up. But Lascano is one of those seniors that is pushing for that 53-0, pushing for another state title. Talking with the Hornet Stat crew and some of their people throughout the week, this is a group, this senior class that has not lost since the beginning of 8th grade. So
yeah, we was trying to figure that out. Like, wait a minute, what was the last time they actually lost a game? Like back in 7th, 8th grade. It was the beginning of 8th grade. Incredible.
So they've been playing together for a while. They've been challenged for a while, and they've been disciplined and working together for so long. As we see Gogolin trying to again go east and west after the loss of 2 on first down. On second down, he gets that yardage back, so they get back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up a 3rd and 10. But going back to that point, AA, I mean, they've been there together for so long, and yes, winning has been aplenty in Kirtland for this senior class, but it's the attention to detail, and they don't skip any steps.
No.
They don't skip any part of the process. They are all about that work. Mason Russ will get the pitch carry, pushing for the first down, gets upended. He might be, based on the spot, looks like a yard shy at the Garfield 43, needed to get to the 42.
Yeah, let's take a look here on the outside. Again, this is where you're loading up the line here and ensuring that you have the containment, and that's exactly what happened there on the outside. And to your point, Kevin, we were here back about a month ago when Kirtland faced Perry, and we mentioned how they don't even like to talk about the win streak. They don't like to talk about.
And the hard count gets Garfield. Encroachment, 5-yard penalty. More importantly, first down without even having to take the snap. And those are the little things and those crucial mental mistakes that Garfield made and Kirtland was able to force that makes them so good.
And that's exactly the point, is that they get excited about the hard counts. They get excited about the small little plays there. Good luck taking the ball there. But they get excited about those kind of things. A lot of teams don't. A lot of teams don't get excited, about making little plays and those little drills. Kirtland does, and it shows every single week they play.
Lascano waiting for the ready to play as the spotting football referee told the center to put his hand on it so it didn't keep rolling away. And off to the races goes Russ again, down inside the 30. The knee goes down right at the 30, so gain of 8, 2nd and 2, 4:41 left on the 4th quarter clock.
And if you're the Kirtland offensive line, this is the part of the game, especially because you don't get opportunities that often to compete in close games like Kirtland has tonight. This is the opportunity right now to say it's time for championship football. It's time. Now, we're going to take the game in our hands and our blocking, and we're going to push Garfield's D-line all the way to the end zone. That's their goal here.
Lascano, snap, handoff to Russ, fighting his way through a crowd, and he will get the first down to the 20-yard line of Garfield, 4:06. Again, the clock will stop, allowing the chains to move, but it'll keep moving. And, AA, we kind of have the advantage of, hindsight being 20/20, but also just being up here in the booth. Going back to it, you mentioned Garfield, were they going to do the onside kick? Should they have taken the onside kick? Because we're seeing that 8-9 minute drive being put on display by the Hornets.
This drive started with 10 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And we're now at 3:40 to go in this quarter. That's why.
Russ on the carry, near side, pushing his way towards the 10-yard line. He'll get dragged back, forward progress.
Did you notice, too, Kevin, that Russ was fighting to stay inbounds? Again, just those little things. And, Goggling, he's been doing that a lot. Russ the same thing. Let's look at it. And look how good run. But he's like, no, not going out of bounds. Not going out of bounds. Wants to keep that clock running. And the very best teams are well aware of situational football, and now they're in the huddle, coming up on 3 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
Kirtland trying to put this one away, up 18-7 in the fourth quarter of this regional semifinal. 2:53 left. Lascano under center, pushing for that first down. They always like to, on second and short, third and short, they like to run that QB sneak, and it works to perfection. First and goal, Kirtland at the Garfield 9-yard line.
Yeah, and this is just get after it here. This is an absolute clinic at this point. We saw the hard count from Kirtland earlier, getting the first down. And, football is such a great game because mentally you have to be sharp as well. Like, this is the type of drive where, okay, first quarter, Kirtland only was getting like a yard per carry. And now, mentally, they're taking over this football game.
And Lascano smartly looking at the back judge, looking for that signal of the play clock. 5 seconds on the play clock. Lascano takes the snap, gives the ball to, looks like Mason Russ on the carry. He'll get down to the 5-yard line. Pick up a 4 on first and goal, be second and goal. More importantly, we tick under 2 minutes to go, 1:45 left in the ball game.
And this is where Kirtland has to be careful because right now, Garfield, if I'm the Garfield defense right now, like, you're going for the strip. You're stripping the football. You want to strip the football because at this point, you have 90 seconds left of your season.
90 seconds left in the ball game. Kirtland, second and goal from the Garfield 5-yard line. Lascano with that power I formation keeps it himself, and he will get dragged back. And frustration push at the end. Did not see a flag come out, and those are the types of plays that coaches will infuriate coaches on their sideline. As you see Kirtland getting their crowd into it, you can't have those kind of mental mistakes when you're already down in the ball game, limited time left. You're trying to get the football back somehow, some way. Luckily, it wasn't called, but you can't have those kind of lapses in judgment.
Well, you're right, but it's tough only because for a drive like this, I'm going to be honest. If I was out there, I would have reacted that way. I don't condone. I don't support that. But it's frustrating because every way, 3-yard, 4-yard game, 11-yard game, 9-yard game, hard count, staying in bounds. Like, everything we're trying to do, if you're Garfield, is not working in this drive. And you're going to have one offensive drive for Kirtland that's going to take nearly the entire quarter. This is unreal that this drive might take up the entirety of the fourth quarter.
And you mentioned it, AA. I mean, this is a physically, emotionally, mentally taxing sport. Easy for us to say not to do that up here, not being down there and in the action down there on the field. You can't have those kind of mistakes if they do become mistakes. Now, Lascano will hand off to Tommy Goglin, who goes left to right into the end zone. Flags fly at the end, but Tommy Goglin, for the moment, goes into the end zone. Will await the call with 1:09 to go. 9-yard touchdown run initially from Tommy Gogolin. Again, we will check the penalty markers. We saw the frustration starting to spill out just before that third down play. And as the referees kind of come together to have a discussion, personal foul on Garfield. That'll be enforced on the kickoff, so the touchdown is good. Put 6 more on the board, courtesy of number 2, Tommy Gogolin. 9-yard touchdown run, and it is 24-7 Kirtland on top of Garrettsville Garfield. 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the football game. On to attempt the extra point is Nick Barisic. He is 1 for 2 on got his early extra point attempt blocked. He is 2 for 3 on field goals tonight, as well as this extra point goes up, goes through the uprights. 25-7 Kirtland, well on their way now, AA, to a Division V Region 17 championship game.
Yeah, and that was a championship drive. There's no other way to describe it. That drive started with 10 minutes and 21 seconds left in the fourth quarter. They go, I believe, 16 plays on that drive. Might have been 16 or 17 plays on that drive down the field. And we mentioned it and almost joked about the onside kick part, but this is what happens with Garfield not kicking the onside kick. It's like defensively, if you don't get a 3 and out, you're in danger of what just happened. And this Kirtland Hornets team, any football team at any level, whether it's at this level or in the pros, who have the ability to say, here's the football, eat up the clock. We see it with the Cleveland Browns, with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. If you're able in the fourth quarter with a lead to take the football, run it, and control the clock and eat up the football game, that's a W. And Kirtland has shown this entire audience who's watching us right now across the state of Ohio, if they have the lead on you, this is what we're doing to you.
It is old school, grinded out type football, even when not at your best. Still being able to impose your will. This was clinical. This was procedural. This was just another day at the office for Kirtland, as the kickoff will be kicked through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback for Garfield. And they will have first down and 10 at their 20-yard line with 1:09 to go. But AA, I mean, it's just a train, an engine that just keeps rolling. They find ways to win. You know that Coach Laverty and these players are going to talk about allowing that 7 points on the board in this one, and some of the mistakes that they made, leaving some points out there on the field, because they don't talk about the win streak like we said. They are just about how can we go and prove to you that in the spread offense era, running the football is still important in the game of football.
That was a 9-minute drive.
Swagonski will go down. A sack for Kirtland. Getting in on that sack, looks like David Patel and Scott Hamer, bringing Swagonski down for a 1-yard loss. Clock will just continue to tick. Garfield has 2 timeouts. At this point, it is 45 seconds left in the season. They're trying to find a way to make some plays, but that defensive front has been stout all day long for Kirtland. They found the answers today.
Yeah, they really did. And Garfield does deserve a lot of credit in this game. They gave Kirtland their greatest challenge this season.
Swagonski throwing that one, looking for Anthony Dema, who's been, for the most part, held in check by this Kirtland offense. You knew it was the Anthony Dema and Mason Rush show. Dema has had a few bright spots, but this score is not going to tell the story. And we'll wrap things up once this game kind of ends to really give credit where credit is due to both squads, especially Garfield, and for getting to this point, but also for what they put out there and the test that they gave Kirtland. Again, Kirtland finding the answers and passing another test and passing on to another week.
Yeah. I'm just stunned as far as like how they were able to pull it off here. It's just incredible.
Swagonski back to pass, going long, and Sullivan will look like he's going to pick that one off. It does get picked off on a bit of a tip drill. Interception by Gino Blassini.
Incredible.
And that will close it out.
Incredible.
Two teams that came in not turning the football over.
Who actually did get the interception? That was incredible because Sullivan had it over. That was awesome. That was awesome, Kevin.
Sullivan started to kind of almost as if he was peeking up field, bounces off his hands. Blassini, right man, Johnny on the spot to get the interception. Coming into today, you know, Garfield only had 7 turnovers coming into the ball game, and Swagonski had only thrown 2 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions in tonight's ball game, and you turn the football over, you make those mistakes against a team like Kirtland, who now pushes their win streak, their nation-leading active win streak to 53 wins, and move on to the Division V Region 17 championship game next week. They win 25-7 over Garrettsville Garfield here tonight on CVC TV. Kevin Arnold alongside AA Anthony Alford, and we will wrap this one up quickly as fans quickly head for the exits. Kirtland fans are celebrating but wanting to get to their warm vehicles. We will be wanting to do that here very shortly as well. AA, we said that got to give credit where credit is due. Garrettsville Garfield gave Kirtland the best test that they've probably had all season long, and while the score line shows a much more lopsided score at the end, 25-7, two teams looking at each other and themselves in the mirror when they looked at the other side. Kirtland just enough answers, just enough difference between what Garrettsville was bringing and what Kirtland was bringing to get the win here tonight.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Look, Kirtland, we saw it right here. They were not happy going into the locker room at the end of the first half, and it was only 9-0, but there were several missed opportunities, and Garfield gave Kirtland, other than the game we had against Perry, this was their greatest challenge this year. Kirtland needed a game like this to propel them into the rest of the playoffs because, again, we talked about it. You know, you talk about, like, teams that have dynasties, right? Teams like the New England Patriots with Tom Brady back, way back when. But we talk about those teams where sometimes, the Bulls of the 90s, sometimes in the middle rounds, you get a little bored with the challenge. You may not look at the opposing team, not to say you don't have respect for the other team, but you may not approach the week and say, okay, this is a big game. We got to be ready to play. And early on, it was tough. Garfield was ready to play, but Kirtland was able to make the adjustments. And again, I don't think they would have came away happy tonight, Kirtland, until that fourth quarter, 9 minutes and 12-second drive where Garfield gave the football back after the touchdown, and Kirtland, every step of the way, from hard counts to just simple runs, first down after first down after first down. That was a championship drive to end this game for Kirtland. They stayed in bounds. They knew situational football, and they got the job done. But like you said, Kevin, I watched the Garrettsville Garfield team, G-Men, out of the Youngstown area, who had an unbelievable season. And this is something, again, for their senior class that they should be proud of here tonight for all their efforts throughout the year and in this game.
Absolutely. G-Men came in at 12-0. They'll finish the season 12-1, but the effort that they gave, and you can see why they had such a good season for what we saw here tonight, and it was an honor and a pleasure to be able to call their game. We've been focused on the Chagrin Valley Conference all season long, and now to get into playoff time to kind of see some of these non-league matchups, these cross-division matchups, things like that, to kind of see teams that you wouldn't normally see in the regular season. That's the fun part about this job. The difficult part, of course, is to, talk about how there is the winner and, the loser. We've all been there. If you played sports before, you've played in high school, you've been on either side of the coin. For those that, where you missed it, you'll probably see it on Twitter later. Of course, the excited Kirtland huddle down here off to our left. It's kind of like clockwork. When they get together after a win, they count out how many points they had. Kirtland wins. Coach Beeler, their defensive coordinator, dances. So you'll see plenty of that. But, that's the fun side. The downside, of course, you'll see some heads probably hanging a little bit low from Garrettsville Garfield, but not a lot to hang your head on. A wonderful season from them and Coach Mosier. But tonight, Kirtland gets the win 25-7, and they will move on to face South Range next week in the Division 5 Region 17 Championship after South Range took down Garraway 15-12. The Raiders 13-0 will move on to that Division 5 regional final to face these Kirtland Hornets as well. AA, it was, again, an honor and a pleasure. It is so good to keep bringing CVC TV for as long as we can this season. We don't know if we'll have another game, at least for fall sport-wise. We do want to send a congratulations to the Chagrin Falls girls soccer team who won a state championship yesterday.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
So
Congrats.
representing the area well, and, of course, one of the first state championships down in the new stadium in Columbus, which I know you've had a chance to go see in that soccer stadium down there. And I know that I believe the Independence girls were in a state championship in volleyball today as well. Did not see the score on that, but go over to chagrinvalleyconference.com and you'll be able to check out that score as well, because we cover it all here at the Chagrin Valley Conference. And on CVC TV tonight, your final score, the Kirtland Hornets 25, the Garrettsville Garfield G-Men 7. Thank you so much to our production director and producer on site tonight, Peter Tellep, our camera operators, Jacob Tellep and Mike Allen, bringing you all of the great, crazy, and perfect angles and perfect shots here this evening.
In the cold. In the elements.
In the cold, and our production assistant and on-site, Jim Wagner, who we had a bit of a technical difficulty earlier. He was Johnny on the spot with that, hustling up and down to the field and up here to the booth to get that corrected to continue bringing you the game. Thank you so much to my broadcast partner, AA Anthony Alford, for AA and the CVC TV crew. That's going to do it for your CVC TV Game of the Week, presented by the Ohio Center for Oral, Facial, and Implant Surgery. I'm Kevin Reynolds signing off for the night. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time on CVC TV.